Before we get too deep in the weeds, let's start with a quick temperature check. This exercise is something that you can do as little or as often as you need to, but it's a great way to take a step back and examine how things are going at the moment. There's a worksheet in the RECON program lineup that you can download and follow along, and it might be helpful to go ahead and do that now. As you move into the corporate world, you're probably going to hear this common term a lot, and that's the idea of work-life balance. Work-life balance is supposedly this ideal scenario set up like a set of scales where work is on one side and life is on the other, and the ultimate goal is to keep them aligned, not giving too much to one or taking too much from the other. I'll admit, I'm no fan of this concept for a few reasons. First of all, work is only one part of your life, so measuring them as equal components is simply wrong. But also, there are many personality types who cannot naturally separate the two, and so their job or career becomes intricately wound into their personal identity and the roles they adhere to. So when you hear this term balance, don't think of a set of scales. Think instead of a common circus act, the plate spinner. If you haven't seen one, the concept is this. A man or woman gets in front of a crowd and has 8, maybe 10, 20 spikes sticking up into the air. They'll start by spinning a plate and then balance it to spin on one of those spikes. As they continue to move down the line, they'll keep placing new spinning plates on new spikes. The trick is to keep all of the plates spinning, not just the one they're focused on at the moment. And so what typically happens is that around plate 4 or 5, they have to run back to the beginning and put a little bit more spin on the first few and then refocus on making progress forward. There is no better anecdote for life, I believe, than this concept of spinning plates. We are all designed to focus on things that are wrong so we can fix them. But if we take our eyes off all the other areas of our life at that time, what happens? A crash. So it's important that while we focus on repairing or building up certain areas of our life, we don't forget the other areas of our life that are equally as important. This exercise is all about that, to check in and just see how well you are spinning plates at the moment. Keep in mind, though, there's no judgment coming from anywhere. If you find you've got an area that is bottoming out, there are ways to fix that. Don't panic over it. You can work on those areas later. Right now, it's important to simply assess what you have in the air. There are 8 areas that we're going to dive into for this exercise: health, spirituality, money, job, environment, fun, friends and family, and your love life. To begin, take one area, whichever one you want to start with, consider it and give it a score, with 1 being this area sucks right now, to 10, which is more like I've got this perfected. Now, it'd be easy to just throw a number on each of these and rush through, but this isn't a timed exercise. What's important in this instance is taking an honest inventory of where you are right now. Once you have a number that you feel comfortable with in an area, write it down. You should end up with 8 separate scores that you'll then plot on the corresponding axis with a single dot. Once you have them all plotted, connect each dot to another all the way around the circle. As you're doing this, it should become rather clear which plates you are keeping spinning, to use our analogy, and which ones are teetering and need some attention. Your wheel may come out a bit lopsided or even flat. When you identify those areas, pick your top 3 or 4, usually your flat areas, or the plates that need attention the most to bring them into balance. Consider that area through the lens of the question, what would help me feel better about this area of my life? Or, what can I do to improve that area of my life by 1%? Just 1, something small. Don't worry about bringing everything level all at once, just focus on that one thing. If it's financial and your point of pain is that you don't ever seem to have enough money, consider dropping your morning coffee at the shop. If you're feeling distant from your spouse or partner, maybe it's as easy as scheduling alone time to reconnect. These don't have to be big, massive changes. They should just be small improvements to keep your eyes on each area. Now, this process can be overwhelming. The feeling that you need to improve everything or keep all plates spinning can be a lot to take in all at once, and there's a lot of pressure to do so. And when you're going through change, it's easy to make excuses or find reasons you can't do something, so let's take care of that now. Take a look at your flats list and the changes you'd like to make there. Is there anything preventing you right now, mentally, emotionally, or physically, from making those changes? What obstacles are you facing, and how can you address those to clear the way for your success? Although we won't walk you through this exercise again at the end of the RECON program, I'd encourage you to add this to your arsenal and revisit it every once in a while. Those flat areas you have are going to change and move too. As you focus on one area, another may start to teeter, and that's okay, that's part of life. Just take a few minutes every few months just to check in and see how you're doing. If you're feeling exceptionally ambitious, you can go ahead now and schedule a few temperature checks for the future. The point is, you can't fix something if you don't know it's broken, and it's easy to miss small cracks if you aren't paying attention. Use this as an opportunity to examine, in detail, the various aspects of your life to prevent big crashes later.